So the most recent episode of The Mandalorian is starting to show us some interesting connections between potential Imperial remnants and pirates, and I figured today we could take a closer look at the relationship the Galactic Empire had with piracy within the galaxy. I'm Colin, and this is Sci-Fi Deep Dive. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, to head down below and hit that subscribe button. So, piracy has existed within the galaxy for centuries, long before the Empire or even the Republic. Basically, for as long as species had taken to space and been traveling between worlds, there was space piracy. And it had kind of become a fact of life in a lot of places in the galaxy, even under the Galactic Republic. Now, the Republic did have a far sterner view on piracy than other factions, vowing to crack down on it and, keep it under control, but the Republic had its challenges. In fact, any galactic government wanting to tackle piracy as an issue faces some really major problems. You see, the galaxy is massive, and it's hard to keep an eye on everything all at once, with different pirate factions and different pirate operations maybe going on at any given time, and then you have smuggling and other aspects of piracy that aren't quite as violent that you have to try to juggle as well. It becomes a mess rather quickly. So, how exactly did the Empire handle piracy? Well, getting this out of the way first off, the Empire handled it quite a bit differently from the way the Republic handled it. While the Republic had a bold-faced, we don't tolerate piracy image, they actually didn't really carry out very many anti-piracy operations, at least in their later years, albeit they had some pretty major distractions. Still, the Republic was rather light on piracy and slavery, especially when it came to the Outer Rim territories that the Republic only sort of controlled. And with the outbreak of the Clone Wars, things were vastly different. With all the major organizations of the galaxy focused on the war effort, there wasn't really any resources left to go after pirates. However, when the war came to an end, things shifted a little bit, with the new Galactic Empire coming to power, and a fractured and divided galaxy now under one government. Add to that the Galactic Empire was far more totalitarian and maintained a rather large peacetime military, meant that there was actually a pretty large and aggressive government in place that probably could have done a fair bit against piracy if they wanted to. Big question now becomes, did they want to? And the answer to that is, it depends. It depends on whether the piracy was actually affecting the Galactic Empire at all. Now, when the piracy was large and very visible, the Empire would crack down on it as a show of force. After all, they have this massive military apparatus, they might as well use it. However, if it was small and really not affecting Imperial elements and resources, the Empire would often just live and let live. Especially when corruption gets involved. When you're dealing with smaller Imperial officers and leaders of Imperial garrisons, they were easily bribed by local pirate factions to look the other way, as the pirates raided civilian resources and ships. This became this sort of open policy of not acknowledging one another, and led to a sort of prosperous period for galactic piracy. The Empire did, however, crack down on smuggling. Smuggling was a problem within the Galactic Empire, as many of us are probably pretty aware, especially with a growing rebellion. The drive to crack down on contraband was a significant one. So the Empire did take a more aggressive stance on dealing with things like smuggling, but when it came to aggressive militaristic piracy, they were less concerned, especially when it didn't bother them. However, with the end of the Galactic Civil War and the fall of the Galactic Empire and the rise of the New Republic, things once again changed. The New Republic had a very different view of piracy, viewing it as a scourge that needed to be dealt with. The problem was the New Republic didn't have the military or the assets to really deal with piracy, especially when they're still dealing with Imperial Remnants and kind of trying to downsize their military at the same time. It became a pretty significant issue. And that's where an unlikely alliance came in. You have the Imperial officers, many of them who were holding lower positions during the reign of the Empire, who maybe were already in communication with pirates to facilitate bribes, now looking out for allies to help them in their struggle to continue surviving as political entities. I would not be surprised if we're going to start to see Imperial factions either hiring or just simply teaming up with pirate factions to throw New Republic forces out of an area. After all, they both have a common enemy. The pirates don't want the New Republic to sweep in and sort of enforce their new anti-piracy rules. The Empire doesn't really want the New Republic in their area either. Ultimately, there's a long and storied history between these two elements, the pirates and the Empire, and I'm looking forward to seeing that explored more as The Mandalorian continues, and we get to see what the Imperial Remnant is up to now. Personally, like I mentioned a few weeks ago, I do believe this ties in with a larger theme that's going to slowly bring Thrawn into the series once again, but that's just speculation. But if you'd like to learn more about that speculation, I'll leave a link up here to a video all about the source of those mysterious TIE fighters we saw a few episodes back. And I'd like you to let me know down in the comments, if you were an Imperial warlord trying to hold on to power, would you team up with pirates, or would you consider that too risky of a move? After all, pirates tend to be rather rowdy and unpredictable. And if you have anything else you'd like to see me cover in Star Wars, you can leave it down below in the comments. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, head down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. So for Sci-Fi Deep Dive, I'm Colin, and I will see you next time.